Everyone. For CP Awareness Month, we were asked by the lovely Katie to make these videos, basically saying what CP means to us and what's the significance of CP Awareness Month to us. I think for me, it's um, it's not so much knowing that people know that I have CP. It's the understanding of what CP is because it is cerebral palsy is so complex and it's so it varies from each individual in so many different ways that it's kind of like a rainbow. Um, and it's an umbrella term when you discuss what it is. So I think in that regard, that's what CP Awareness Month means to me. It's just better understanding and knowing of what CP is and how it affects each individual differently. Um, and the best and worst thing about my CP is I think I used to be one of these people that would say that my disability never defined me. And I think what I've come to realize in the last year, few months, is that, CP defines every aspect of my life. It defines, how I get up in the morning, how I get on a bus, how I work. And I think it's also been a, a great teaching tool for me to be gentle on myself and to be gentle on my body. um, because I fall a lot. That is one of the things about my CP that is really kind of hard to deal with sometimes is the fact that I have very poor balance and my center of gravity is off so much that I fall like probably once every 2 days, and it takes a toll on my body because these are my knees, these are my elbows, these are my hips, these are all joints that are working together to keep my body going and to keep me moving. And I don't I don't use like a wheelchair or anything like that, but I do use a cane to get around every once in a while when it does become too much. Um, and I think that that is I think the embracing of mobility devices is important too because you have to be careful on yourself and you have to be careful on your body and understand that your body does have limits and that as people with CP we use 2 to 3 times more energy than an average able-bodied person, and that's something to consider as well. Um, I think that's also the thing that I want people to know about CP is going back to my first point about how it affects each individual so different. Um, every sort of shade of CP is unique in terms of whether do you experience startle reflex, do you have poor balance or coordination, um, do you struggle with fatigue. Um, do you struggle with concentration? Do you have vision issues? Do you have GI issues? Do you have bladder issues? These are all different things that kind of range in the spectrum of CP. And, you know, though you may not have it as a child, as you grow up as an adult, these things can manifest themselves. Um, doesn't manifest for everyone, which is again back to my point. But yeah, it's I think another thing that's important to understand is that there are adults with CP. Um, there are young people with CP, there are teenagers, and it's a difficult kind of road to navigate as a young adult um, with a disability because you may not know anybody else that has CP, and you kind of feel like you're the odd person out for a lot of your teenage years, and it's a very isolating, lonely feeling because there aren't many people that would quite understand what you're going through. People with other disabilities have a similar frame of reference, but I think that's important too. It's important to let young people and teenagers and you know girls, boys, everybody in between know that there are people out there who understand what you're going through and that there is that support and you can find it. And I think that's a great thing about social media is it's let people have support networks. And I think that's really, really beautiful. And I think that's also something that's really significant about, understanding CP is the fact that, we're kind of in a tribe of our own. And, though our experiences may differ, though we may have used X mobility device um, growing up as a child, or use it as an adult, that we all are kind of in this together, and it's um it's a part of our lives that we have to kind of embrace. And I think, as for me, it's a growing and it's an understanding each day, because I'm fairly independent. I love doing things on my own and proving to people that I can do things, when they set expectations up for me, because that's kind of been my life. It's like, okay, so you're not going to reach X milestone by this. Um, so I kind of love the underdog mentality of like, okay, so you think I'm not going to be able to do this? Let me show you. Um, so yeah, those are the things about CP that I am grateful for. Do I necessarily like the pain? Do I like having to acknowledge that there are days where I just can't do it, where I am just energy is depleted and my body hurts and my joints are aching from the weather and from the colds or whatever it is, from a fall? No, no, I don't like that part. Because I don't like having to be in a space where I have to defend myself from my own body in a sense. Um, because for the longest time, I really tried to ignore every single ache and pain, and every time that I fell, I get right back up and just keep going. Even if my knee is swelling, or even if I can't put weight on one leg or whatever it is. Um, I don't like acknowledging that. Because even though it's a part of my life and it's a part of my experience as a person with cerebral palsy, it's one of those things that I don't want people to see as a weakness in me. I don't want it to take away from what I can do and how I do the things that I do. Um, so yeah, so that's my spiel. I would just say to anybody out there, who any young person who has CP and who's kind of navigating these waters, or any parent that is trying to navigate these waters and trying to understand, I'd say, your first thing that you should do as a parent is brush up on as much as you can. Resources like UCP have so many good points of reference to go to if you have questions, or you feel like you don't have the answers that you're looking for. You can find them. And um, I would say to any young person that it's okay to feel like this is what makes you different. Um, Being different is good, because if we were all the same, it'd be really boring. But I'd say don't let it be the one thing that carries you. Um, know that you have a kid, for parents, know that you have a kid that has a disability, but they also have a personality, and they have strengths, and they have talents you know, that are there, and they're just waiting to be nurtured and waiting to be fostered, because you have a great kid. And that's what I would say to also young people too, is focus on your strengths, focus on the things that you love, focus on the fact that you may have to do things a little bit differently, but there's always a way to get it done. Um, and just own that this is the experience that you get to have. And it's a little bit rocky navigating it sometimes, but just know that there are people out there who understand and will support you and give you advice, and help you kind of get through it. And embrace it and own it, and you know live the best life that you can. So I hope you guys find any of these pieces of advice helpful. Yeah, so thanks for letting me be a part of it. Bye.